After exploring London, spend a few days in Edinburgh. You'll be glad you did. This is Scotland's capital, and it's one of the most popular places to visit in Britain. Scotland is famous for its fine whiskies, castles, and mysterious lochs. And the best way to sample it is to visit Edinburgh. This city is divided into two parts. Old Town, which you see below, is where the city was formed in the 11th century. And New Town, which was formed in the 18th century. The most impressive sight is Edinburgh Castle, which is perched majestically above the city. It's at the top of an ancient volcano. The castle was a military base for battles between Scotland and England before they merged in 1603. Cannons guarded the castle, and its most famous resident was Mary, Queen of Scots. She tried to bring Catholicism back to Scotland and England, but she failed, and she paid a heavy price. They executed her. The main tourist attractions are located along the Royal Mile in the center of Old Town. Edinburgh Castle is at the top of the Royal Mile, and the city grew down the slope of this hill. Further down the street is St. Giles Cathedral, Scotland's most famous Protestant church. This is where John Knox preached in the 16th century, and his passionate sermons against Mary, Queen of Scots, led to her exile. At the bottom of the Royal Mile is the Palace of Holyrood House. This is the official residence in Scotland of Her Majesty the Queen. Inside, there are portraits of Scottish kings. Most of the palace was built in the 17th century, and nearby are the ruins of a 12th century abbey. Scotland has a wide range of tasty food, such as this smoked salmon and green beans. Another famous Scottish dish is a delicious meal of pigeon and black pudding. Of course, you also might want to try some of Scotland's fine malt whiskies. These neoclassical buildings inspired Edinburgh's nickname, the Athens of the North. At the top of this hill, you also get great views of New Town, which has many elegant Georgian shops and homes. While Scotland is an integral part of Great Britain, it's also strongly independent, and the Scottish Parliament sets local policies. This is a very important point to remember. Just like in Wales, they are very proud of their heritage. So never say that someone from Scotland or Wales is English. The Royal Yacht Britannia was used by the royal family to sail the world seas for over 40 years. This majestic ship has lavish interiors which include the state dining and drawing rooms. Also see the Scottish folk evenings, which include bagpipers and traditional dancing. The Scotch Whisky Heritage Centre has videos and a scale model of how whiskey is made. It's distilled from grains such as rye or barley. Then it matures for a few years in wood casks. Scotch whiskey has a dry, smoky flavor. At this centre, there's also a ride about the history of Scotland's national drink. Finally, you get a sample of whiskey. If you want a drink and a good time, this is a quaint place to visit. Stirling was at the centre of many famous events in Scotland, and Stirling Castle dominates the surrounding countryside. This was the site of key battles between Scotland and England. On this side of the castle there is a beautiful garden. Much of the castle was rebuilt in the 15th century, and it is where Mary, the Queen of Scots, was crowned in 1543. Some even say that the legendary King Arthur lived in Scotland, although other sites in Britain make similar claims. Robert the Bruce ruled as King of Scotland from 1306 to 1329, and there is a statue of him in front of the castle. These are some of the cannons which defended Stirling Castle. These guns dominated the valley below, and they show why this fort played such an important role in Scottish history. Across the plains, there's a monument to the Scottish folk hero William Wallace. In 1297, he led Scotland in a famous battle against the English army. During the Battle of Stirling Bridge, Wallace recaptured Stirling Castle. The bridge, which you see here, was a strategic point to cross this river. In the movie Braveheart, Mel Gibson portrayed Wallace, paying tribute to the Scottish hero.